guys, welcome to the Everett Silver Show. We have exciting guests as we do every week, and so I want to thank you so much for tuning in, and I'm always bringing it to you, so thanks so much for staying in tune with us. Stay connected. You're watching the Everett Silver Show.
Ovie, how you doing, man?
Doing good.
Man, appreciate having you. I've had you on the show before. What a pleasure to have you again. Folks, I got my special guest. We got to talk about the big game, entertaining. And I have Ovie Mughelli here with us, former All-Pro NFL player and also podcast host. We've got to talk about this big game that's coming soon. It's so important to get ready to watch with family and friends, and kind of here to talk about. He's the big game day expert, and so we got to let him tell us what we need to do. Also, he's All-Pro for the Atlanta Falcons and Baltimore Ravens, a former network TV football analyst as well, and so hosts a popular show that he does. And so I want to welcome again Ovie to our program. Now, Ovie, talk about first of all, who do you like, and to win the big game, man?
Well, you know what? Who I like and who's going to win are two different things, unfortunately. I like the Eagles, but the Chiefs going to win because they seem to play at their best at the biggest stages, and there's no bigger stage than the Super Bowl. But good thing for you and for me is that we're all winning here because I'm going to teach you how to throw the best game day spread ever.
Wow. Now, Ovie, what can't miss super side kind of, for every game? What's that you have for the menu?
Well, brother, when it's 4th and 1, you go to your best play. And for me, that's ready-to-heat Bob Evans queso mac and cheese. It's the ultimate easy-to-prepare game day stack to share with family and friends. Microwave in 5 minutes, serve as is, or incorporate it into a variety of recipes like air-fried Tex-Mex mac and cheese egg rolls, and they taste even better than they sound. Bob Evans queso mac and cheese packs all the zesty, creamy, Tex-Mex-inspired flavor with just the right amount of spice, made with real cheese, real milk, and red and green peppers.
And then, Ovie, give us a favorite game day dish.
Well, I love calling the fullback dive in the red zone because I was guaranteed to score. Just like you're guaranteed to score with Bush's Baked Beans, it's perfect for any watch party. Whether you're a super fan cheering on your team or just here for the fun of the food, game day watch parties aren't complete without Bush's Baked Beans, the ultimate crowd pleaser that everyone can enjoy during the big game. From hamburger baked beans to chuck wagon roll-ups like we have here, Bush's is a winning addition to your game day meal.
And then, Ovie, what is your favorite but unique game day sandwich?
Ovie loves sandwiches. I go third person when I love a sandwich, and I love this one. And you can level up with your game day spread and treat your crew to premium French dip from Firehouse Subs. It's packed with flavor, hearty enough to keep everyone satisfied throughout every play. Now get this, it's loaded with premium roast beef, caramelized onions, melted Swiss and provolone cheeses, topped with Italian seasoning, and then you take all that goodness and put it on a toasted, garlicky, buttery roll with hot au jus that's perfect for dipping. I mean, my mouth is watering right now. You have a masterpiece that you can only find at Firehouse Subs. And to make things better, a portion of every purchase goes back to supporting first responders through their foundation, which has already given over $92 million to these local heroes.
Oh, wow, man, that's awesome. And then, Ovie, what else do you have to kind of make our parties fun this year?
Well, Everett, I've already given you the food. Now, Ovie's got to give you the fun. And the fun is me. And not me, but Funko me or Funko you or Funko anybody. You can create your very own pop version of yourself, friends, family, or loved ones by visiting Funko.com's Pop Yourself feature. Inspired by Funko's iconic pop line, the personalized pop replicas can be customized with t-shirts, hoodies, featuring fan-favorite NFL teams inside exclusive NFL-themed boxes. Pop Yourself is the ultimate way to showcase your team spirit and make an unforgettable gift for any NFL fan, either as a single or two-pack offering. In fact, I'm going to get my wife one for Valentine's Day because the only thing better than Ovie is more Ovie, of course. Hopefully. We'll see.
There you go. And then, Ovie, again, give us where we go for further information, man. This is great.
Hey, for more information, Everett, go to tipsontv.com.
Well, again, I want to thank former All-Pro fullback for the Atlanta Falcons, Baltimore Ravens, former network TV football analyst, and now the host of the popular Believe in Falcons podcast. My main man, Ovie Mughelli, has been with us. Ovie, thanks for doing the show, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Well, guys, thanks so much for tuning into the Everett Silver Show. Stay tuned. Don't turn that dial because we got more exciting guests right here on the Everett Silver Show. Be back in a moment.
Hello, Everett.
Hello.
Dr. Hirschfield, Julianne, thank you so much for doing the show. What a pleasure to have you both.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
What does itching have to do with your liver? And it's one of the primary symptoms of a rare progressive liver disease, primarily sclerosing cholangitis, so better known as PSC. And the disease is often diagnosed in the prime of life, but people may not even know that they even have it. And here to kind of talk about the symptoms and how it can impact your daily life, I have Dr. Gideon Hirschfield, along with Julianne Vasichek, a former NCAA American hockey player, also three-time champion, national champion rather, who was diagnosed with PSC. And so, doctor, what exactly is PSC? And can you explain the symptoms that they have?
Well, thank you. So PSC, that stands for primary sclerosing cholangitis. It's a rare disease, but it's a really important and impactful disease. We don't know the real cause, but we know that it's autoimmune. The immune system attacks the bile ducts in our patients. So this is not a lifestyle disease. Their immune system is attacking the bile ducts. The bile ducts are inflamed and sore. The bile ducts become narrowed. The bile can't get out the liver, and the liver becomes damaged, and the patient is symptomatic, because when bile can't get into the bowel, bile leaks into the blood, and that causes our patients to have symptoms that include itch. And a major symptom of living with PSC is itch. And this is not an itch where the scratch takes it away. This is an itch where you scratch and scratch and scratch with no relief, where you make yourself bleed, where you can't sleep at night, where you're tired during the day. It's a really miserable itch. And believe it or not, it is coming from their liver and their poorly liver health from that bile duct inflammation.
Wow. And then, Julianne, what has been your experience with PSC, and have you experienced these symptoms?
Yeah, well, as you mentioned, I was a collegiate ice hockey player. I graduated in 2005, and in the couple years after, I started to have fatigue, and then eventually that progressed to that itch that Dr. Hirschfield talked about, and it was very maddening, very debilitating, and it's the reason that I was prompted to go to a doctor to figure out what was wrong. And so when I went to the doctor, they did a blood test, and from there I was referred to a specialist, a gastroenterologist, and that specialist kind of narrowed down what I had through a scoping procedure, and so that's when I learned I had rare disease, primary sclerosing cholangitis. So from there, it was really, there weren't a lot of clinical trials available, very few therapies to just kind of help with symptom management. So over the next 7 years, I had different procedures and things like that, but eventually it progressed to needing a life-saving liver transplant in 2015.
And then, Dr. Hirschfield, talk about what can patients do like Julianne to treat the symptoms of PSC?
Well, we're here today to raise awareness, and we're doing this in partnership with Mirum Pharmaceutical, because awareness is key. It's a rare disease. There are treatments currently for the symptoms, but they're not great, they're not perfect, and our patients often end up needing liver transplantation to rescue them from liver failure. But what they can do is advocate and speak up and tell their providers about their symptoms. They can get to clinics that do a lot of research in PSC and who look after a lot of patients with PSC. And if they do that, they get the chance to take part in some of the clinical trials that are ongoing, trying to develop better treatments to really improve their quality of life and ultimately improve the quantity of life. So I think awareness is key, and speaking up is the other thing that's very important for our patients.
And then, Julianne, how have you overcome, the challenges of this disease, and what do you want people to know about it?
Yeah, well, because it is a rare disease, it was hard for me to find information when I was diagnosed. Thankfully, I was able to get to a website, pscpartners.org, and that was hosted by a nonprofit, PSC Partners Seeking a Cure. And for me, that was really game-changing in the course of the disease. I was able to meet other PSC patients. Rare diseases, you're not always able to meet other patients. I was able to actually connect with doctors. I had gotten to a larger treatment center, as Dr. Hirschfield recommended. So I was able to really kind of change the course of my journey with PSC, even though it ended with a liver transplant. And one thing I do want people to know is the awareness is important, because PSC can come back. So I do have friends that have needed multiple transplants. So for me, the advocacy has been a big piece throughout my disease course. And also, now that I'm living without PSC, it's been something where I want to continue to advocate because I want to get to better treatments. I also do a lot of advocacy for organ donation as well, because obviously my life was saved by a very generous donor.
And then lastly, Dr. Hirschfeld, what are most importantly the things that I guess our audience should know about PSC?
Well, I want them to know it's a rare disease. I want them to know that you can be itchy because of your liver and you should speak up and get investigated. And I want people generally to know that there's a lot of effort to get better treatments for this rare liver disease, PSC. I want them to know there's sources of information out there. A good website, for example, is mirumclinicaltrials.com. That's MIRUM. And that's a great place to go if you want to learn more about the trials that are ongoing to really make a difference to our amazing patients who live with this difficult disease. And so that they don't feel defeated. No one feels defeated. They feel optimistic about their future and that we'll make a real difference by all working together.
Well, I want to thank you guys so much for doing the show today. And then where do we go for information?
Information, I told you, on the internet, pscpartners.org and mirumclinicaltrials.com are great places to start to learn more about this difficult and impactful rare disease.
I want to thank my special guest, Dr. Gideon Hirschfeld. I also want to thank Julianne Vasichek, former NCAA All-American hockey player, also three-time national champion. Thank you, Julianne, for sharing your story, and we got to get the information out, and I appreciate you both.
Thank you so much for helping raise awareness. Yep.
You're so welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
More guests coming your way. Don't touch that dial. I'll be back in a moment.
Good morning. Hi, Everett.
Good morning, Dr. Soliman. Thank you so much for doing the show. Pleasure to have you.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
You're so welcome. And as we look to the new year kicks off, the focus is usually on improving our physical health, but our brain health needs some attention too, though. And pharmacist and educator Dr. Suzanne Soliman here joins us with some simple tips of regimens that we can follow every day to improve memory, learning, focus, and more. And so good morning again, Dr. Soliman. So what are your biggest tips for supporting brain health?
Good morning. Thanks for having me. So I would say for starters, you want to get enough sleep. Aim for about 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep every night. It's really critical. And then you want to look at your diet. Plenty of fruits like berries, leafy greens, healthy fats like avocado, fish, nuts, and limit your processed foods, especially those sugary drinks, fast food, any type of processed snacks. You really want to limit them. And then exercise. Move your body because you love yourself, not because you have to. Movement is really important, even just walking. Another recommendation I have is keeping your stress at bay. So you want to manage your stress. You could do some deep breathing, meditation, any type of yoga or exercise, and even just hobbies or activities that you enjoy. And I always recommend a good supplement. My absolute favorite is Nariva. And unlike some supplements such as Prevagen, which said it improved memory, but they can't support the claim, Nariva Plus actually supports up to 6 brain health indicators, including memory if you take it regularly. Plus, you can find Nariva right over the counter, so it's very easy to access.
And then, Dr. Soliman, is there anything else that we should actually be doing?
Definitely. When it comes to brain health, cognitive stimulation is important. Reading, puzzles, learning a new language, playing an instrument, or even just taking a class. Social activities are important, so conversing with others, and then remembering not to smoke, limiting your alcohol, and that certain medications can impact your cognition negatively.
And then any last-minute tips that you have for us, and then where do we go for this great information to further understand?
So I think starting anywhere is important. So my last-minute tip would be just start anywhere. You can start with the supplement and then start with better sleep, more exercise. And then if you're looking for more information on brain health in general or about Nariva, you can go right to nariva.com.
I want to thank again my special guest, pharmacist educator, Dr. Suzanne Soliman. Thank you so much for this wonderful information on brain health. I tell you, I've learned something. I've got bad at taking vitamins. I need to get back, so I know.
we all go through those. Yes, we all go through, but it's important. It definitely can make a difference. So we want to remember to help, along the way, not wait, until something bad happens. So
that's right. Thank you so much again, Dr. Suzanne Soliman. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
More guests coming your way. Don't touch that dial. Be back in a moment.
As the new year approaches, financial stress is on a lot of people's minds. A recent study from Intuit found that 61% of Americans are feeling the pinch, and for 21%, things have gotten worse compared to last year. So how can you take control of your money and start the year off right? Here to help us break it all down is Marissa Cazem, a consumer trend expert at Intuit. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. Yes.
It's a very important topic, so we're excited to chat with you this morning. Can we start high level? What is financial wellness?
Sure, absolutely. So as a consumer trends expert at Intuit, part of my job is better understanding how people are thinking and feeling about money, especially now. In uncertain times, it's always important to have a financial wellness routine in place. And so when we think about financial wellness, it's really about keeping your money in check and your mind at ease, and just the way you approach your gym routine, approach your finances with habits, healthy habits.
Yes, that's such a good tip. We often think of physical wellness or mental wellness, but financial wellness is equally as important. So what are the top financial stressors and priorities for 2025?
Yeah, so, reporting, looking at the data, people are talking about housing and rising rent costs being one of the top stressors that people are feeling as it relates to their finances. Second in place is jobs, with nearly half of folks reporting job insecurity as one of their top stressors. And we can even think about everyday expenses and goods that are expensive for people. There are also folks still dealing with large debt, like student loans. And there are times where, unexpected costs come up, like emergencies. And so there may be an auto repair or medical bill. These are the things that are really keeping people feeling sort of their pockets pinched, and why having a financial wellness routine is key.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And speaking of, how can you get started with a financial wellness routine without drastically changing your lifestyle?
Yes, it's not about a 360 lifestyle change that abruptly is going to upend things for yourself. It's simple. It's really about these 3 tips I like to give consumers when I'm hearing about their financial stress. Number 1 is creating a money date for yourself. I like to call it Finance Fridays. For myself, I look at my bank account, make sure everything's in check. If I return something a week before, is the credit there? I'm looking at my subscriptions. Are there ones that I can get rid of? Really using time to create space and look at your finances holistically, whether it's weekly or monthly, it's a good habit to have in place. The second thing I like to talk about is creating an emergency fund for yourself. Savings is key. It can be $5 to $10 a month that you're automatically transferring into a savings account. Over time, all of that money will add up, and it'll create a cushion for you that you may need in times that are uncertain. The third thing I like to talk about is supplemental income. We're in the age of side hustles, the multiple gigs economy, and we see 66% of millennials and Gen Z taking it upon themselves to have a side hustle. Some people are doing hair on the weekends, or driving for Uber, or dog walking. It's definitely a time, and there's technology out there that helps all of us create supplemental income as needed.
Those are some really good tips. So how can you talk to your friends and family about money, and why is this a key part of financial wellness?
Yeah, the money conversation is becoming more and more ubiquitous. People are no longer thinking about money as a taboo conversation, especially younger generations. Over 60% of folks want to hear more about money, whether it's talking peer to peer. What is the salary you're making in this role? What does that market pay? What did that brand pay you to do that creator post? People are talking about money amongst themselves, and it's so important to be open, honest, and transparent, because it helps everyone out at the end of the day, and it helps us build really healthy financial habits in the new year.
Well, that's great. A lot of really great information this morning. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
Thank you. Yeah, I'd say that if folks are looking for more tips and tricks to keep their finances in check and create a healthy financial wellness routine, they can check out the Intuit blog at intuit.com.
Awesome. Marissa, thanks so much for joining us this morning on We Are Austin. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
More guests coming your way. Don't touch that dial. Be back in a moment.
Hello, Everett.
Hello, Everett.
Howard and Deb, thank you so much for doing the show. I appreciate having you both.
Thank you for having us.
Well, folks, I had this National Caregivers Day. We take a moment to kind of recognize and thank those who devote their lives to caring for one of their loved ones. And more than 1 in 5 Americans serve as a family caregiver for all our disabled relatives. And so with us today, I have Howard and Deb. Howard is the primary caregiver for his wife, Deb, who is living with AEO, thickened sclerosis. I'm not probably pronouncing it right. It's also known as ALS, and it's a progressive neurodegenerative disease that kind of causes people to kind of lose their ability to speak, swallow, eat, move, breathe on their own, and kind of requiring increasing support and the relevance on the caregivers. So Howard and Deb are helping to raise this awareness, and I appreciate their strength and their telling their story today. And so Deb, can you share your personal story of living with ALS and including the symptoms you experienced and what led to this diagnosis?
It's a very devastating diagnosis, but it's also a complicated diagnosis to get to. My symptoms started with a couple of falls that were just kind of random, and I could ignore them. But when I got to the part where I could grasp a doorknob, but I couldn't get the door open, I couldn't turn the doorknob, I knew I had to find out what was going on. I started seeing doctors, having tests done, and doctor after doctor, test after test. 14 months later, I got referred to a neuromuscular specialist who pretty quickly diagnosed ALS. As you mentioned, it is 100% fatal. And knowing that, hearing that information from the doctor, knowing that we were going to have to share that information with friends, family, church family, our children, and most especially with parents who are almost 90 years old, was a very difficult process to walk through.
Now, Howard, your initial reaction to Deb's diagnosis, what was that? And then can you share your experience as a caregiver?
Yes, devastating, life-changing are the words that come to mind. It's hard to maybe see sometimes that there is blessing in this madness. And one of the ways we found that is my wife is incredibly positive. She doesn't ask the question, why me? She asks the question, why not me? And with that lens on our life, we approach every challenge, every problem in a more positive light. Try to find the joy and the blessing each day. We have a lot of laughs. We've made a lot of stories. So that's how we get through what we need to get through.
And then, Howard, what advice do you have for others caring for someone with ALS?
You can't isolate. You need a foundation. And for me, my foundation is found in my faith in Jesus Christ. And he has been faithful to bring people and resources around us, friends, family, ministry partners, organizations that are incredibly supportive, encouraging, giving us the resources and the confidence to actually find joy through this process. And we've grown a lot closer together because of it.
Wow. And then, Deb, tell us more about the work you're doing to kind of spread awareness of ALS.
ALS is a rare disease, and we were blessed to have a doctor who sat us down, explained what the treatment options were, And for me, he suggested that Radicava would be a good choice. He explained the side effects, bruising, problems walking, a headache that could happen, but that he believed that for me, the benefits would outweigh the possible side effects. Again, every person experiences ALS differently. Each person needs to talk to their doctor and find out what's best for them. MTPA has offered an amazing opportunity, as Howard shared. We can partner with them. We are partnering with them in their Share Your Story program. It takes a giant first step in developing community, raising awareness, and helping to find encouragement and resources in a central spot.
And then, Howard, why should others living with ALS and their caregivers get involved by sharing their personal story? And if to do so, where can they go to sign up?
Yeah, isolation is very dangerous, and ALS is a devastating disease. As we mentioned, it's incurable. There's no known cure for it. And so raising awareness, gaining knowledge, developing community, resources, hope and encouragement with and through others is really important. And I think one great place to start is at shareyouralsstory.com/winters. That's the first step, and one of many, but I think it's a good place to start.
I want to thank you guys for sharing your story, and such inspiring story, and thank you so much for being a part of it, Deb. Thank you so much for sharing your story. I think I'm going to try it again. Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, I think, is what ALS stands for.
Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. You got
did.
it. You did a
And
very good job.
you know what's easier to say? Lou Gehrig's disease.
That's it. Thank you so much. And so I appreciate you again sharing your story. And such inspiration. And guys, thank you so much for doing the show today. And pleasure to have you both.
Thank you for having us.
Much.
You're so welcome. Bye-bye.
Seems like forever is coming. I can't believe it's happening